Well, hard to believe it's 60 years ago. In a little motel, is what it was. It wasn't a hotel, a little motel out by the Atlanta airport, where Dr. Sid had his very first DE meeting called Air Host Inn. You know, when I think back over the years and all that's happened since then and in my lifetime in chiropractic, it's sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming because so much has gone on from chiropractic, both from the good things and the bad things that's happened in our lifetime, but overall, it's the rock solid understanding of the principle of what this profession is all about. And Steve just mentioned a few minutes ago about Sid in the Meadowlands experience, and read some of the information in that book, and we give those things out, by the way. I don't know, I mean, any students in here tonight? Well, you make sure, all right, give them a hand. Make sure you get copies of that Meadowland experience before you leave, and they should be free out at the registration desk, so make sure you get it. But I had been thinking about my time in chiropractic, and my daughter and her husband recently moved to Madison, Georgia. Well, that's the little town 50 miles east of here where we set up our first chiropractic practice, June of 1958. And so I spent the night with Carol and Brian last night, and this morning I got up, first thing I did, I had to ride by and see where my old office was. Well, it's no longer there. They tore the building down, but Madison's still there. All the old antebellum buildings, homes are there. And if you ever get a chance and want to drive down and see some of the old South, you go to Madison, Georgia. It's about 50 miles out east on 20 going towards South Carolina. But I had to go by there and reminisce about my 2.5 years down there and about how things were back then, because back then segregation existed, and I never will forget, and I can't explain it today, but when I opened up, all of a sudden I started getting patients right and left in the black community, and they started coming so fast. One week, Sid had his Tuesday night meetings out in Austell, he and them, and we had to give a report. Everybody get up and give a report on how many new patients you had, and I had 32 new patients by Tuesday night. And at the end of the week, it was 64 new patients. And they were coming from everywhere. And Sid said, "Dee, it's your dynamic personality. That's what's drawing them in there." Well, I don't know what it was, but all I know is people were coming from everywhere. And I'd have to admit, and I know we talk about a lot right now about getting negative feelings about why maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do that. Somehow I was blessed by never having a feeling. I don't ever recall in my mind having a feeling that people aren't coming. It was just automatic. My parents lived in Atlanta. Beth and I would drive up on the weekend, and driving on the way back, it was about an hour and a half trip then. It was just 2-lane road. But anyway, on the way back, all I was doing was thinking about and seeing the people. Steve talked about vision a while ago and reaching out. It just came to me. I could see the parking lot lining up with cars. And the next morning when Beth and I would get there, there'd be 8 or 10 cars in the parking lot. And I know I've told this before at DE. Some of you may remember this. But I had on I don't know what day in the week it was. We was open every day in the week, by the way. Sometimes people say, "Well, how many hours a week do you work?" Well, I work 22 hours a week. That's 22 hours a week. We worked 6 days a week. But I remembered a fella showed up. He happened to be a minister. And I said, Reverend, where are you from? And he said, Hawkinsville, Georgia. And I said, well, I'm a Georgia native. I said, where's Hawkinsville? He said, oh, it's about 30 miles south of Macon. Well, I added up the bodies, and it was over 100 miles. And I said, how in the world did you find me up here in Madison? He said, well, I gave a revival last week over in the county next door, and they said that at the church over there, they said there's a doctor in Madison that can cure anything that you weren't born with. And this is a guy that lived over 100 miles away, but preached all around evidently. And to this day, I can't explain it, but all I can tell you is when you turn yourself over to your innate and let that innate flow through you, and you just open your heart to serving people and caring for people and for loving people, they'll start coming from everywhere. That doesn't mean you don't have to work at it. You got to do what's necessary. Like Steve mentioned about that working, you got to work at it. But I can tell you right now, if you'll just open up your heart and know that people out there need your service, that's all it was to me. Still is today. Still got that same burning thing in my heart for chiropractic and what it means to all of us. And the history of DE first. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Life University held 50th anniversary of Life University. And we were invited to go. And showed up, and I'll be honest with you, it was, I think, the last time I was there on campus. Beth and I would ride through there. They still show the Lights of Life, and every Christmas starts at Thanksgiving and goes the first of the year. And we've been through the campus. But as far as being able to speak on campus, it had been, I think, 2013, right after Guy Reekman had a memorial service for Dr. Sid, 2013, and I was there at that time. But it'd been a little bit difficulty. Like it wasn't enough information being shared about Dr. Sid in the history of that university. So we were invited to go. We went up and we was able to share that. And they inducted Dr. Sid and Nell and myself into what they call the Fellows Academy of Chiropractic for Life University. So we were there to do that. And Rando, if you got that tuned up so you can show that video, I'll show you what they had for Dr. Sid and Nell. I'd like for you to see that, because that man couldn't ever be honored too much for what he did to that for that university and for chiropractic. I'd like for you to see what we had 2 weeks ago at Life University. Well, while he's trying to get that sound on, Dr. Sid and Nell and myself were inducted into that Fellows of Life University, and at the banquet on Friday night, and we was very appreciative of it. I was very appreciative of it, and I know Dr. Sid and Nell would have been if they had been here. But I was talking to Dr. Kim later about it, and because they had some other fellows that were there, they had them introduced at the time, and so Dr. Kim said, she said, after 22 years, it's about time they welcomed my dad and my mom into the Fellows of Life University. So that's sort of the way it was. But we had that experience 2 weeks ago, and then the next day they allowed me to come over to get with Dr. Scott, the president, and we went over and gave early history of how life started. And then that was on Saturday afternoon, and then Monday got home, the phone rang, and Dr. Lamar said, Dr. Scott wants you to come back up this time uh, and speak to the students and let them know about the history of life. And I said, listen, 91 coming up in about 2 weeks. I said, I drive up there once, and I drive up there twice, but 3 times, I don't know about that. And he said, don't worry about that. We're going to fly you up there. So I said, well, if you're going to fly me up there, I'll do that. So I was able to do that, and I was able to get and have the opportunity to speak to. We had about 700 students in the room that day, and was able to share with them some of the history of what Dr. Sid and Nell did in forming that university and the background of what DE meant. We talked about DE being 10 years before, and the secret, a lot of people wonder about how in the world would Sid get a school started so fast and so rapidly and grow so fast. Well, he had 10 years worth of alumni when he started, and that was DE alumni, and that's where the support came from. It was, first class was 22 students in January of '75. Then the next quarter was like 14 students. It really was tough then, Jack. And then the next class, talking to Joe Lupo, it was in the 3rd class. He said they had like 78 in that 3rd class, and from then on it took off. Then grew over a period of 25 years to be the largest chiropractic college, single campus chiropractic college in the world. And the peak we had 1997, 98, we had like 3,300 in the DC program and 1,000 in the undergrad program, right at 4,300 in the late around 1997, 98. So that experience of seeing that institution grow and being a part of it, and Lord, a lot of times I get more credit than I'm really due, because it was easy. It was easy following the leader. Sid knew what to do. He following his innate, and he lived the innate life, and all I had to do is just, he would say, Dee Dee, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I said, yes, sir, that's what we're going to do. And so I gave him all the support I could through the years, and we were involved in other things through the years as well, but International Chiropractors Association, we were involved with that. Our state association here, I was past president of the GCA back in the day, and president of the ICA. So we've had our time in chiropractic, but I'll be honest with you, I look on this profession today and I see the success in the profession, and like Dr. Steve was talking about, the amount of money people can make in chiropractic today, and I reflect back when he was talking about that a while ago. I was thinking back when we got out of Palmer in '56 and graduated, the average income at the time for chiropractors on an annual basis was somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 a year. That was the gross. That wasn't the net. That was the gross. And I remember Sid went out to Parker one time and came back, I think it was about 1962, and he said, Dee Dee, there are 2 chiropractors out there from Kansas, and they reported they did $25,000 last year. I said, you gotta be kidding. So that's kind of the way it was. It was $1, $2 a visit, $3 a visit back then. So when you look at it like that and see where chiropractic has come from and the opportunity that chiropractors have today, it's absolutely marvelous. But be 91 coming up here in a couple of weeks, but when I think about this future and the challenge that lies ahead for us, see, folks out there, we had our challenges, and even before us, when the people were, when we graduated, I think I mentioned before, we had 5 states that didn't even have licensure when we graduated in the mid-'50s. And constantly bombardment by the medical profession was going on. We had, in fact, you go over the bell tower at Life, and the 700 people's names are inscribed on the base of that bell tower, people who either went to jail for practicing medicine without a license or were charged with that charge for practicing medicine without a license. And those things were at that period of time. But we have our challenges today, and the main challenge I think we've got today is that we don't even get the negative medical information like it used to be. But the main challenge we got today, I personally think, is it. And I hate because you young people, y'all say, and a lot of you I know, you say, well, it's really not all that easy. Well, you don't have the obstacles that we had back in the days. Today, it's why people, people say, in fact, I can't tell you how many people I run into. The strangest places you would never expect it. And I say something about being a chiropractor, and they say, oh, really? Yeah. And they just warm up about chiropractic. It wasn't that day back in the day. And I've talked to people a lot of times, and they say something about chiropractic, and then they say Life University, Life College. They knew about that. It's just amazing the difference in the way people think today about chiropractic. Whether you like it or not, you're accepted. Did you know that? You're accepted. You're in the mainstream of health today, and you got every opportunity in the world to use big practices today. But the problem is, I think, we're not telling the true story. People don't understand today that the body heals itself. They don't get that message. They think it's all outside in stuff instead of inside out. And we have to spread that message. There's not enough education going on in our own individual practice. How many of you out there, I want to hold your hands up right now. How many of you right now have a health talk that you give at least once a week in your clinic where you explain the innate understanding of how the body heals itself? How many of them now, Dr. Jack, stand up and look around. Look at these people. Look how few of them it is. Give them a hand. But my goodness gracious life, folks, every hand in here, if you're running the practice, you ought to be giving that educational. We used to do it 3 times. We had 3 Monday, Wednesday, Friday talk time, and that's when we got up and talked all about chiropractic and understanding how the body heals itself. And so I think people go in today, chiropractors, if they got a quick backache and strain, know the chiropractor may help them, they get a little relief and they're gone. They may come back and see you when they hurt again, but they don't understand this chiropractic business. We need to tell them up front, it's lifetime care, folks. It's lifetime care. Which one? I'm on hands again. How many of y'all are going to just say, well, I'll see a chiropractor sometime when I hurt? Y'all go get checked on a regular basis? Every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, my chiropractor in Brunswick, Georgia, I'm over there getting checked. Beth and I used to, did it for years. You got to understand that's what it is, lifetime care. That's what it's all about. And they need to be educated of that. They need to understand. And we need to make, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here, but sometimes I think in certain areas of the profession right now, the cotton picking fees are too high. We got to make it where it's affordable, where people can really get down to it. And I'm not saying to give it away. I'm not saying that at all. You can prosper well in chiropractic today if you got a loving, warm, caring personality, and you want to do everything you can for every patient that comes in. You make sure that when they come in that you do everything you can to correct that subluxation. You'll do well in chiropractic. But, I forgot who was talking, hadn't been too long ago, was talking about, in fact, Sid used to, I'm going to go back just a little bit. When Sid came out, and he and Nell started their practice in Austell, built a large practice. The main thing he wanted to do first is get the word out about Williams Chiropractic Health Center. That's what he wanted to do. Then he wanted to get the word out about chiropractic. Then he wanted to make sure that whatever was keeping people away from except coming in to see chiropractors, he wanted to eliminate that. And so back in the day, early days of DE, we became known as the free x-ray seminar, because Sid found out that what was keeping people out of the chiropractic office back then was the $15 x-ray cost. And so Sid said, we'll collect money in the Life Foundation, and we'll buy film and give it to the chiropractors so they can advertise free x-rays in the clinic and draw patients in. The idea to open up the market. because you gotta do whatever it takes to open the market. And I think as a profession in the future, chiropractic has got to be where we're servants, but we're seeing multiple people, and we're spreading the word on the body's innate ability to heal. And we got a political thing going on right now in this country, and I'm on the back of my car, and you may disagree with me, but I got to tell you, I got a Trump sticker on the back of my car, and the reason not only reason, but one of the reasons I got, Kennedy joined in with Trump. And Kennedy, I can tell you right now, is a friend of chiropractic, but what I like about that guy is he understands about what's needed for a person to be healthy in this country. And he wants to be a chairman of Health and Human Resources, and he wants to do what he can to change this whole complexion in this United States, and so that people start thinking about their body and the health and what it takes for them to be healthy. And it's chiropractic first, medicine second, and surgery last. And don't y'all ever forget, but that's exactly what it is. And it's that way. We had that motto early on. That's the way it is now. And if we take it in the future, if it'll get down to where you open up the practice wide open, let people come in, as many as they can get in the office, multiple people coming in your office, families coming into your office, caring for families. I remember Bob Slatilli, bless his heart, he was one of the first volume people that we had come to DE. And Bob, he was hard-nosed. And a patient would come in on Monday, new patient, and he'd say, okay, I want you back here Wednesday, and when you come, how many kids do you have? So I got 2 kids. Okay, you got a wife and 2 kids? Bring them. Have them here when you come Wednesday. Oh, Doc, my wife does it. Listen, when you come back Wednesday, bring your wife and kids. But Doc, I can't afford that. Did I say anything about money? Just bring your kid and your wife. That's the way he was, and he opened it up, and he said, I tell you what you'll do. He made a pact with him. He said, you give me $60 on Monday, and that'll take care of the week for you, so don't you worry about it. He took care of all these people, and he ran 300 or 400 patient visits a week on that basis. And I'm talking about way back in the late 60s, early 70s. I think we need to open the market. We need to open the market through education. We need to possibly look at this fee situation, but we got to do more education of our patients. I don't know what time I got right now left, but I got some video there that of DE history a little bit, and I want y'all to take a look at it if you will. Randolph, if you can get it put on these.
If you'll develop the authority, that you can be the authority
he finally got that
in your
there.
own voice. When you tell that patient you'll be better, or you look good, or you give them a friendly smile, if you do it with authority, they will believe. If you believe, remember, all scriptural truths since eons of time have all said all things are possible
to them
to
that
those
believe.
who believe.
That's right, Debbie.
Dr. Sid Williams was a man known for many things: determination, passion, innovation. But above all, Dr. Sid was a visionary for a place that would safeguard the foundational philosophy of chiropractic and empower new generations of chiropractors to change the world.
Chiropractic is a healthcare discipline which emphasizes the inherent recuperative powers of the body to heal itself without the use of drugs or surgery.
For a man who would go on to revolutionize the profession, his introduction to chiropractic happened almost by chance. A football injury landed him in a chiropractor's office. Whether by happenstance or divine providence, this encounter changed the course of his life, and by extension, the lives of countless others. Inspired by his experience, Dr. Sid traveled to Palmer College to study chiropractic. Here, he immersed himself in the teachings of another legend of chiropractic, D.D. Palmer. These teachings, particularly the principle of vitalism, the recognition that the universe itself is self-conscious, and as such, creates itself as a dynamic system wherein living organisms are self-developing, self-maintaining, and self-healing, This philosophy became the bedrock of his life's work.
Wouldn't it be appropriate that we in chiropractic had a complete set of insurance codes and procedures that are uniquely ours, just like the dentist, where no medical doctor will infringe upon it, no one would challenge it, that this defines what we do? Is that what we would like or what we want?
After graduating, Dr. Sid took his new passion for chiropractic, grounded in vitalistic philosophy, and quickly established himself as a skilled chiropractor. His practice in Atlanta, Georgia flourished, and he traveled across the country, sharing his passion for chiropractic. Through these travels, Dr. Sid began to see a need for an institution that wouldn't just teach the science of chiropractic, but would also preserve its philosophical roots. And so, in 1974, Dr. Sid and his vitalistic visionaries founded Life Chiropractic College in Marietta, Georgia. As founder and the college's first president, Dr. Sid envisioned a place where students would receive a world-class education rooted in the philosophical principles he held dear. His desire was to see these students become the next generation of chiropractors who would carry forward the philosophy that had transformed his own life. Over the decades, Dr. Sid's vision grew, and so did life. Athletic programs were added, undergrad programs were introduced, and finally, Life College became Life University. Throughout all this time, through the growth and success, even obstacles and setbacks, Life University thrived under the leadership and influence of its founder. In 2002, Dr. Sid retired as president, but his impact on chiropractic and Life University endures. In 2012, he passed on, but his legacy of tenacity, determination, belief in our institution and the chiropractic profession lives on. Today, as we celebrate 50 years of Life University, we celebrate this man. Life U continues to be a leading institution in chiropractic education and a bastion of vitalistic philosophy. Every student who enters through these doors carries with them the legacy of Dr. Sid Williams. Visionary, educator, influencer, legend.
All right. That's like Dr. Kim said, it's about, she said blank time. That they really had this information out about Dr. Sid, because really we had for years out there, there was very little talk about Dr. Sid. I hate to say that, but in fact, other people joined in, DE people that were early days people, and they wanted to be founders too. So they started out saying, well, we're founders of Life University. We said, no, there's one founder of Life University. So, and so that's one reason why I shouldn't say anything other than the fact that we appreciate what they did, and we've had a great relationship in the past, and we hope things are going to be better in the future. But we look forward to it being better in the future. And I've had the privilege a year ago, Beth and I went out to Life West. We're invited out there by Dr. Oberstein, and we were honored out there. And then, of course, we're here. And then just recently, earlier this year, actually just about 3 months ago, Dr. Jack, by the way, please stand up. Our president of Sherman College, please. Thank you for being here, Dr. Jack. And our former president of Sherman College. Give him a hand. Well, we appreciate greatly y'all being here, but we had a great time. We went over and met with Jack and then Dr. Gilardi, Tom, and his wife, and we had a great time over there. And we want to support our principal chiropractic institutions. And you send the students, we want you to send them wherever you feel personally in your heart they need to go, but let's support our chiropractic institutions who are telling chiropractic like it is. And we hope that each institution that we've talked about is going to be stronger and stronger down the road. And Jack, thank you for being here. It's always a privilege having you and that beautiful bride of yours next to you. And let me close by We're here this week, Dynamic Essentials 1964, 2024. We're here this week in celebrating 60 years of DE. Its impact on the profession of chiropractic is unparalleled. And today, Dr. Sid's vision still burns bright in the hearts of DE born and bred chiropractors from all around the world, all around the U.S. and the world. As we celebrate DE's history, let us never forget Dr. Sid's vision of satisfying the health needs of the world's suffering billions. It's really not about us. What we got to remember, it's really not about us. It's about them and their needs. We will do this by introducing them to the very best chiropractic care possible, educating them on the innate understanding of the body being able to heal itself, and that's what's needed. And may the lasting purpose principle of loving, serving, giving, and doing with no expectation of return be our guide. And may God continue to bless DE and chiropractic's future. And let me just add this one last thing to if you stand up and look at this room, and I can tell you folks, you people on the front rows up, you ought to turn around and look at what you're seeing back here. Now this is a Thursday night, and I can tell you, look at that crowd, folks. I can tell you Thursday night, I bet you, and a lot of us DE people, we know Thursday night, back 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you might have 40, 50 people in here on Thursday night. Look at this room is full. Almost looks like a Saturday at DE. So DE is growing. We're so happy the leadership at DE when Dr. Sid and Nell chose several of us to take the leadership and keep DE alive. And I was thinking about it when I was sitting back there while Steve was talking, think about if Dr. Sid and Nell thinking about it, they'd look down and say, oh my goodness, DE is still going, the message is still being carried forth, and the future is bright in chiropractic, the future is bright for DE. And so you join in those people that are now leading DE and tell your friends about this DE. Let's grow this place, because this is where principal chiropractic lives. This is where, if you want to get a good understanding of what chiropractic is all about, and understanding success for chiropractic that can be yours, you come to DE. You get them to come to DE. Let's grow this DE meeting and influence more and more people so we can start spreading this world and reach the population for the value of chiropractic care, because that's what it's all about. Thank you so much.